Hi, thanks for joining us today. I'm Shomik Ghosh, Assistant Editor at ATCIO. Now, the modern workplace has transformed over the last decade, and how? Different functions such as HR, finance, and IT can no longer work as separate islands. There's a common thread connecting them, and that's technology. And in today's discussion, we learn how technology can be leveraged to break down these silos and improve efficiency and employee experience. To do that, let me welcome Deepa Param Singhal. She's the Vice President of Applications at Oracle India. Deepa, thanks so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure hosting you.
Thank you so much, Shomik, for having me here. Really
Sure.
appreciate it.
All right. Let me tell you a little bit about Deepa. Now, prior to joining Oracle, Deepa was associated with Akamai Technologies, where she served as the Regional Vice President. She drove its web business for India and the subcontinent region. And prior to Akamai, she had several leadership roles at LinkedIn, and she has worked extensively in the APAC market. Over the last 20 years, Deepa has amassed broad experience in building and growing enterprise software, technology, cloud, SaaS, and internet businesses, working in the United States and in the APAC region. Wow, I mean, that's a whole lot of experience, Deepa, and I'm sure we're going to have a great conversation today.
Thank you, Shomik. Looking forward to it.
Sure. Now, Deepa, to start with, we've seen collaboration across departments is extremely crucial for successful digital transformation. Now, how do you suggest breaking down these silos between IT, finance, HR to foster a culture of collaboration and innovation?
Thank you, Shomik. It's a very pertinent question, I must say. I think the future of business has actually arrived sooner than we expected. And if you look at it, we're today living in a world of constant innovation and constant change. So what people today expect is really a consumer grade experience. They want a quick service, they want quick response, irrespective of which department you're interacting with, right? Whether it's IT or finance, everyone wants a consumer grade service. And to that effect, I think all companies must really make decisions at a very, very rapid pace. So siloed lines of businesses and siloed, planning, it may have worked in the past, in the previous world, but today the focus is really on connected enterprise. The focus is really around connected planning across the enterprise. So on one hand, there's a lot of rapid change that's driving this need for collaboration, right? And on the other hand, what's happening is, digital transformation, as you know, is increasing across businesses. So irrespective of how, big or small the organization is, or irrespective of the location, companies are really embarking on transformation. And they're doing this so that, they can catch up with competition. They're doing this so that they can grow their businesses. So when you look at that trend of digital transformation, and when you overlay that with AI, there is really a very strong demand for integrated solution, integrated collaboration across departments that's coming up. So I think it's really the need of hour. It's very crucial for us to foster collaboration. And I think as leaders, it's our responsibility to ensure that we're communicating the significance and importance of collaboration to our teams. I think as leaders, we have to proactively take steps. I think we have to break down the traditional barriers. We had a theme here, we have different lines of businesses, and I call it breaking the barrier, really. And in the spirit of building a very connected enterprise, if you see. So a lot of ideas that leaders can implement. They can actually bring cross-functional teams, ideate together, joint projects they can create. So I think that's really, really important. So it's no longer a choice, right? It's really, very necessary to drive business outcome. The good news is that the innovations that we have today around AI, it's fundamentally shifted how you can do collaboration, right? In an old world, there was data divide in the functions, right? Departments would take decisions independently. If you look at it, with the coming of technology, with the coming of AI, the whole, this whole thing has changed, and no longer you need to drive suboptimal results or suboptimal outcomes. So, today's modern systems, it actually necessitates a very unified, seamless workflow. If you look at So we've been actually studying this, right? Like if you don't have connections, for example, a badly written job requisition, it can throw a very wrong result a candidate result in the AI engine. If you have
Right.
non-standard item codes, it can impact, spend analysis that you're doing. So silos of logistics data, what does it mean? It means that, you can't take good decisions for your organization as it comes to transportation and so on and so forth. So we've been studying this interplay, and fundamentally, this is something that we feel like, you can leverage technology to actually drive integrated connections and, really bring collaboration. So in our solutions, in our technology, in our Fusion applications, we're really adopting three design principles, Shamik. First is really having unified data model, no matter what department you're in, whether you're in a finance department, whether you're in HR. So, we want to have a unified data model across all of this. The second is really we're focusing on some pre-built functional analytical dashboards. And also, like, embedding AI into all of this, right? So I think that's the way we are looking at solving and breaking barriers between these departments.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Deepa. I think you brought up a lot of pertinent points, especially around the trend where we see companies are recruiting multi-skilled people to foster that interoperability between different departments. We are seeing IT and finance actually collaborating, working together almost seamlessly.
Yeah, I think also, there are a number of strategies, Shomik, that we can actually deploy to bring IT, finance, and HR towards a common goal.
Mhm.
And I think all of that is very necessary in the field of digital transformation, if you ask me. So I think, Shomik, you'll recollect probably there was a time in the business environment, when things were stable, many organizations could get by with just being siloed, right?
Correct.
There was a time when departments could send fixed templates to finance or and sort of periodically consolidate, right? But if you look at the environment today, the disruption that we have today, where you have to be so agile, plans that are made now have to be constantly refined, constantly adjusted. So, it's very important for us to reflect on strategies, how we can bring all of this together. And I think it starts with establishing clear, measurable objectives. I know you
Right.
need to look at what your organization's digital strategy is. And it's important that each department understands its role in how we can achieve these broader objectives, right? And then, as we're talking about choosing the right technology. Okay, the next aspect is definitely choosing the right technology that helps you doing this, right? Very, very important in this day and age to choose a collaborative technology. In my opinion, it's a non-negotiable, right?
Right.
To have a technology that's very collaborative. I've personally see this, how it plays out to us in our organization for our customers. Massive benefits, as companies can take a lot of swift decisions. If I can dive into an example, maybe a little
Go ahead.
bit,
Go ahead.
right?
Sure.
So one of the interplays we've been studying a lot is the Department of Finance and the Department of HR,
Okay.
right? This has to be seamlessly aligned. And when we studied it, I think, there are actually over 41 touch points and codependencies between the HR and the finance or the ERP systems,
Right.
right? And that count, will continue to increase. There's infinite number of connections if you look at it, right? Think about every time an employee bills hours, or travels to work, or a new mobile plan is assigned, or orders a laptop. These transactions have to be recorded in multiple systems, HR systems, finance systems. So I think having two systems, which is the best of breed, is not really best of breed. Bringing it all to a single platform, that is really, really important. HR and finance must not only work very closely
Mhm.
together, they must share the technology, they must share the data, they must share the model. Otherwise, there'll be a lot of manual working, lack of integration, re-entering of data. So, these are things that we see very often. So, so if you think about this, I think the purpose of all of this is, you need to unify processes,
Correct.
right? But at the same time, it has to be very modular as well. So we actually inculcated this again in our design principle. We've built a application end to end that solves most of customers' problems, whether it's your finance, your ERP, your supply chain, your hire to retire processes, your sales, service, marketing. But we also made it very modular. It is
Right.
engineered to work together. But if someone wants to solve a HR business problem, then move to ERP, or vice versa, the customer has benefits. I think that's really important, right? So that,
Correct. Correct.
organizations today can choose that, we'll solve first a particular transformation within a geography or within a specific function like HR, and then move on to other aspects. So I think that's something very important. I'll probably end that by saying that, where I've seen this approach being taken or connected approach being taken, we were actually able to see improved margins by 35% and decrease planning cycle time by 30%. So it's very, very powerful in that sense.
Correct. And great points. And I do agree with you there, Deepa. With different teams using different tools or different platforms, it can kind of throw a spanner in the works, especially if you're trying to roll out, AI and automation. So again, Deepa, coming back to the question on AI and automation, you brought that up in your last answer. How do you see the roles of IT, finance, and HR evolving within the organizations? And how can they adapt to the pace at which AI and automation is being onboarded in organizations today?
Wow, I think it's such a exciting topic, Shomik.
Mm.
And if you look at it all around, what we're witnessing around us is AI and automation, and it's dynamically evolved the roles in organization. You may be an IT professional, you may be a finance professional, you may be an HR professional. It's your role is dynamically shifting, right? Think about IT, right? IT is now driving innovation with AI-driven systems.
Mhm.
Now you look at finance. Finance actually leverages automation for strategic insights. And you think about the HR function that's completely transformed. Our expectations from a HR leader, even that has changed completely. So what AI is doing is that it's enhancing processes. If I deep dive into HR, what AI is doing is that it's enhancing processes all the way from recruitment, pre-boarding to retire of an employee, right? And it's doing all this at a click of a button,
Right.
right? And when it does that, then it gives the professional, gives the HR leader bandwidth to spend more time on people strategy, more critical areas. So no longer do people have to go and wait in front of a HR department to find out their leave balance or get a particular letter issued. These were time consuming tasks.
Right.
And I think it's really giving professionals a lot of time for value added tasks. I think in this environment, what has become very pertinent is skills. Skills have become very, very important. So it's really important for professionals to continuously update their skills, embrace new technology. And, it's the ownership is on us, all departments, all employees to future-proof ourselves. Because, job roles will evolve, expectations from our jobs will change, right? So organizations and leaders in particular, I think, again, ownership on fostering the culture of innovation. How can we get our employees to experiment more? I think that's become a very important boardroom discussion today. We must encourage our employees to try and experiment, take some risks, right? I
Right.
think, if you look at it, 1 in 3 skills that, if you look at job postings in 2017 and look at what were the relevant skills for IT, finance, or sales, those skills have already become obsolete.
Right.
So I think the biggest competitive advantage that organizations have is the skills of our people. So I think in a world where we live, where jobs are evolving so rapidly, having a learning culture, investing in learning tools, modules, thinking about reskilling, I think that becomes very important. Sure.
Absolutely. And yeah, I do, see a common thread there between, my conversation with the C-suite executives as well. Especially CIOs, they are no longer happy to just keeping the lights on. They want to actually contribute to innovation. So, while we have set the context, while we have discussed the importance of technology and interoperability between departments. What our audience really loves, Deepa, is some kind of use case. So could you share some examples of successful collaborative projects where you had different departments, maybe IT, finance, and HR, working together to drive efficiency and innovation?
Sure. Look, lots of examples. Through the course of this conversation, we'll try and weave some of them. I wanted to zoom into a little bit of an industry level and see, what is some of the examples of collaboration that through technology we've influenced at an industry level. Last few years, if you look at the professional services industry, right, the IT services industry, it's been a testing time. It's been a challenging time. Service industry, what they did was they managed to overhire during the pandemic. There was a supply surplus of human capital, and demand actually fluctuated post-pandemic, right? So, we've been working with a lot of customers in this, and we've been trying to help them. They leverage what we call our EPM suite of products, and we've been able to help them manage these shifts in demand far better than those who do not have this integrated planning across HR and finance, right? They've been able to integrate their demand data. Right? They're planning, they've been able to integrate their current skills inventory, and they've been able to develop different scenario planning models, really, to make hiring strategies. So, it's been a very, very powerful shift that we've seen, by deploying these solutions. So, which is why, we've been in this business of driving collaboration through technology for some time now. And what we've been doing is, we've been infusing it with machine learning, with process automation, with customer-driven innovation. I think that has been really, really very critical for us. So today, the way we have developed and been able to impact is that we have best of breed application every step of the way, from finance to human resources, supply chain, like I said. And this, we're able to drive better customer experience, better experience for the stakeholders. And I think, this shift, you will see more and more that, through collaboration, there is so much of impact that you can drive in organizations with faster decision making, etc.
Now, Deepa, a lot of our IT leaders out there are dabbling in AI, taking those first baby steps. So for their benefit, could you share some best practices for integrating AI technologies into existing workflows? How can they actually streamline processes and improve productivity?
Absolutely. I think it's definitely a favorite topic. So let me give you, a process as well as a few examples of how I'm seeing organizations leverage AI. While AI is not a new conversation, at least not for Oracle, but we're seeing that it's finally coming of age within a lot of enterprises, and very rightly so. If you look at the reports around us, IDC actually says that 92% of large companies are already seeing ROI on their investments on AI, and 31% of companies now have AI already in production. So it's high time. I think we all need to catch up, and it's no surprise there are very high expectations with AI. And its latest iterative version is actually generative AI.
Correct.
So
it's
I think
no longer a shiny word, it's very real at this point.
Very real, very tangible benefits that, for which definitely we are seeing a lot of interest in the people that we work with. So what we've done is, we've actually rolled out generative AI into almost all workflows, all tasks. If I give you some examples, I'll actually sort of start with CX, or our customer experience, in the field of sales, service. How can you leverage AI? Today, service agents, can respond to questions coming from their clients through generative AI, and whether it's, offering recommendations to customers. Sales reps no longer need to write or author proposals. All these time-consuming tasks can be replaced. Think about ERP, your finance system, very powerful when you overlay that with generative AI. today, whether it's your financial reports, balance sheets, income statements, you can summarize all of this. There's a lot of capability around report summarization. In supply chain as well, how do you better your supplier negotiation? What ideas can you have? How can you add item descriptions very seamlessly? So those things, are now done with AI, and it's really taking human labor out of the equation in most ways. I'll deep dive into an HCM thing a little bit, because we're seeing a
Please.
lot of generative AI use cases in HCM.
Mhm.
And the role of AI and its impact on employee productivity is predicted to be very massive. It's expected that at least 35% incremental productivity on employees by deploying AI. Not only that, even within recruitment as a function, there's massive benefits of deploying generative AI, right? So, the entire process from pre-hire, there is a lot of use cases of generative AI. You can just definitely shortlist better candidates. You can write performance appraisals better. You can celebrate your employees better. You can recognize them better due to authoring capabilities, so on and so forth. So overall, the possibilities of including this in workplaces is, of extreme amount of value. In a nutshell, like I think we spoke about a lot of examples, but I think the process really is that I think we need to understand that the time to value will be greatly reduced if AI is integrated into any of your workflows. So let's not take up special projects that have to be done by skilled workers or take away bandwidth of skilled workers. Let's leverage the AI functionality in these workflows would be my first advice. And I think the second one is, let's develop unified data strategies, so that you can get sound AI recommendations. So data collaboration between departments is a must if you want to derive benefit of your AI investments. So I think that's a good starting step. And I would say that, let's bring our cross-functional teams, our cross-LOB teams to develop blueprints and to talk about which areas they'll see the most productivity gains by deploying AI, and they'll be able to answer that. I think that's a good starting step for us to start building AI into everything.
All right. So very prudent points there. So audience, if you're listening in, three very important takeaways for you: leverage workflows, encourage data collaboration between departments, and have cross-functional teams actually take a call on which functions AI can be actually deployed in. So thank you for sharing those points with us, Deepa. With that, we come to the last question. If you could share a success story or a case study where you've seen effective collaboration between different departments and it resulted in significant business transformation and actual value creation.
Awesome. Okay, let me actually start with an example close to home right now within our organization, what we do right here at Oracle, right?
Mhm.
So a company with our size, scale that we have, global operations, global complexities, I think Oracle actually would be a great example of, how collaboration can be done, how technology can be leveraged to improve collaboration. So, I think for us, really, it all started with coming together of these departments, IT, finance, and HR department. So it's very important that the goals were very aligned. For us at Oracle, we have a laser focus on innovation, right? And efficiency. So what we did was that we leveraged the expertise of each department, and we said, how are we going to drive growth and value creation from each of these departments? So the first step was to align IT initiatives with the strategic goals of whatever the goals of HR was, finance was. Then we streamlined these processes and integrated the systems at the back end. The integration of technology, when we did that, that's the real thing that helped us accelerate the business process. It helped us provide really insightful information and really improved our decision making by a marked level.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw an impact across everything, right? Our resource allocation, our growth, our ROI, everything was looking very, very strong. But what is also interesting is that apart from these tangible benefits, right, on technology and innovation, we also saw a big impact on the culture of collaboration within Oracle. So breaking these silos of departments, I think, we're really able to leverage the expertise of different work groups. And we saw, we're a large organization. We have nearly 50,000 employees here in India itself. So I think that we saw some real tangible benefits. And across the board, all the customers that we have deployed today, we have customers in every industry, the top IT professionals, the top banks in the country, public sector organizations. They're all coming to us with this vision of collaboration and, using technology to build a connected enterprise. So we do have, use cases and examples all across. If I can give you another example in SBI Cards, right? In BFSI, they had varied challenges, in a credit card industry, starting from sourcing to spends to customer service to streamlining their back office operations. All dimensions were impacted, and they wanted to bring about speed. They wanted to bring about efficiency. They wanted to be able to leverage their data. So we've done a complete back office and front office transformation for them, right? So we were able to drastically improve their customer engagement. We were able to automate their business processes, and no manual intervention is required anymore. We were able to improve their decision making significantly. So a lot of use cases. Similarly, healthcare is an industry where collaboration has to be, it really not only delivers business impact, but maybe saves lives of people. So that is an area we're working very closely to have an end-to-end system with a common data model. Today, if you see a lot of our healthcare customers, be it Apollo Hospitals, Fortis, Aster, all the top hospitals in the country, Narayan Hridayalaya, they all leverage us because of this connected capability.
Thank you for that. And Deepa, thanks for giving us that example. SBI especially, that sounds really impressive. They are currently the second largest credit card provider in the country, 18.5 million credit cards out there in circulation. So that must have been a massive, massive project. Thanks for sharing that with us, Deepa.
Thank you, Soumik.
Sure. Well, that brings us to the end of our conversation. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, Deepa. Thanks so much for sharing your insights and the best practices. And folks, that was Deepa Paramsinghal, the Vice President of Applications at Oracle India. Signing off from ETCIO, this is Soumik Ghosh. Thanks again for joining us. See you again next time.
Thank you, Soumik. Pleasure chatting with you.
Absolutely.